Welcome to a colored pencil tutorial. I've never done one of those, but if you know me, you know I do like all art supplies. I don't discriminate about anything. So I also like to use colored pencils. They are so fun and so clean and so easy. So they are really great if you travel or if you don't want to spend time cleaning up. Who likes to do that? So colored pencils are great. I am going to flip my camera to share with you what we will be using. Welcome to my messy desk. Um, I like to use, normally I like to use water-soluble colored pencils. I don't really care about the brand, so I just have this set. I like the fact that water-soluble pencils are just so much, it feels like they're creamier, much easier to use, much easier to blend. It's just a different texture. So that is kind of important. I also like to have many options. So the bigger the set, the more options you have. So, that's that. I also have this one that is not water soluble, but it is really fun to color with. So even though I say I like it, it's not the end of the world if you don't have a set. I'm not going to activate it with water, so I don't need a set to activate with water. What I liked about this one is all the pinks, like over here. Like in this one, they limit you a little bit. Like, look at this. And if you know me, you know I do like to do a pink flower. And look at this. Very limited pink. Look at this set. More options. So definitely get a set that you like. I'm not going to say buy any of these. I'm just going to say look at the colors and know what you like and then get what you like. This one that opens up like this could be a little annoying because it takes up space. Obviously, this one where the lid comes off and you can kind of fit it is much nicer. So even those things can influence decisions when you buy stuff. And then I do like to use my templates that I make for my watercolor classes. And I will use them in with mixed media. I will use them with acrylic painting. I will basically use them all the time. So I do like to reuse my templates. So if you have taken a watercolor class with me and you still have your templates, reuse them because they're pretty fun. You can use them in many different ways. When I do colored pencils, it is really fun depending on what your object look like or the thing you want to draw. If there's a lot of white or highlights, it's kind of fun to use tone paper. So this book is just kind of a nice size. You don't have to go for this size. And I do like the natural color a lot. So heavy cardstock also works. So if you don't have this, you don't have to go buy anything. You can just use heavy cardstock. Nice thing about this mixed media paper is I did a watercolor painting and it works. Like the paper was actually strong enough to hold the water. So I was just trying to paint a little bit. And then I also used um, pastel pencil. So not colored pencils, more the one that you can smudge. And it also works really great on that one. So it is very versatile and mixed media. So you can use it for all the things. So this is the Columbine flower. I have painted it in watercolor. So I'm just going to use this reference photo instead of looking for the actual photo that I have somewhere. But my book is right here, so I'm just going to use that. And I am going to transfer it the same way I normally transfer. So this was just for a different class. So I'm just reusing all my things. I'm flipping it over and basically the whole thing. I want to kind of just see where um, my flower is, and then I do the pencil. The biggest thing I want to say about colored pencils that you need to keep in mind when you start doing this is if you make any sort of indent in the paper, so when you do your tracing and you go too hard, you press down too much, it will show up when you use your colored pencil. So you have to be very careful for that. And another thing that you want to do is instead of trying to get to the dark color right away, it's more a over and over and over and over kind of action. We will see when we get there. Okay, so I'm gonna go like this. Since the paper is a little bit more flimsy, I want to say, I don't really tape it down. So you can put your phone down or you can put something or just hold it. So keep in mind when you press down, you don't want to press too hard. Sometimes for the tracing, I even like to use I had it somewhere, maybe here, a, a mechanical pencil because the line is so much thinner and your pencil don't get blunt, so you don't end up pressing too hard. So, but then the other thing is you can make indents in your paper. So try your best. Now, a lot of my watercolor templates have like a few lines that just kind of helps you to guide you. So like these inside lines, you will see when we get there. So go a little softer on those, even because you know you're going to do a lot of coloring on the petals. So you can get away with making hard lines in, if that is what happens on the outside edges. However, be careful on the inside one, so go extra soft. Now this is a little tricky because you cannot move your hand. And also, it's really great to look at a reference photo, but also it's your painting or your drawing. You can also do what you want. I tend to focus a lot on the reference photo. And then I get stuck on all the details. Okay, so I traced all my lines. Before I lift it up completely, I hold it and I look to see. I'm like, I can see it, but I don't think you guys can see it. So I'm just going to go slightly darker. Even if I just do the outside lines, because remember, it's a little easier to get away if you indent your paper on the outside lines. I'm not going to retrace the inside ones. Let me just see a little better. I'm so careful trying not to go too dark. Yeah. And then when you're happy, you lift it. Me, I am making my lines darker so you guys can easier follow along. You want to stay definitely soft. So you don't really want to see your pencil line. Sometimes, depending on what kind of pencil you use, like a 2B or like it will, oh, it can mix with your coloring pencil when you do some blending. Oh, wait, that one got a little out of hand. You know, when you clean your desk and then you can't find anything. Okay, I like to use these soft nearby erasers, so then you can kind of get the perfect point to go in there and erase. This one. And then the line is kind of like this. It's like C shapes. That looks good. I'm going to zoom in a little bit. I also like to use my electric sharpener to sharpen my pencils. Even though I know they say it's really bad for your pencils, it's bad for your sharpener, it's bad for all the things. However, it's really good on your hands. So you decide. So this is the flower. I'm going to try to place it so you can see where I'm going. I don't know if it's going to work out. Something like this. And then, so this is where all the pink pencils are coming really handy. So I have a few different options. So I'm going to use some of my Prismacolor and I'm going to use some of my, I don't even know how to pronounce this. Brindle, Brindle. This one, I'm going to use both of them. I'm going to start with the light pink one. And I'm going to focus on the petal that's kind of close to me. And I want to show the texture. So I want to keep on in the direction of the petal. So I'm just not going to do any direction. I'm going to stay in the direction and I'm going to start coloring in. Even though I can barely see it, I always like to approach it light and then dark. And then you come in with your very shadowy dark details. So dark, so light first, medium, and then you come in with your dark, almost like I did all my paintings. I would always go lighter first. Just get it down to so I can see what it looks like. Then I will switch maybe to the darker pink one and I want to add a little bit more. This is more like a flick versus a color in. And I want to see the pencil lines. So I want to definitely place my hand down and flick a little bit more so I can see the different lines. And it's a little hard to see. See what I mean? Let me see if I can zoom in more. My hand is kind of in the way, but I want to show pencil line. Okay, so I came in with my light. I do my medium. Add a little bit more here. Do you see my pencil lines? So if I would make my pencil lines lighter, it will not really show up. So I may want to consider making it a little softer. I'm going to come in with, it's kind of like a dark red. And again, I try to flick. So not coloring in, trying to see little tiny brush strokes or pencil lines. So I used to say brush strokes, but it's the same idea because you want to make sure that you see those detailed lines. And I'm going to come in from the bottom and I'm going to come in from the top. And then if this looks very white, even though there's a pink layer, I can come with my kind of medium pink and do a few lines in there on my highlight. And I switch as I go. Now, I like to use a dark blue or even a dark purple to just come and add a few extra dark areas here. You can also come with a dark purple. And just come back and add a little bit. Moving to the other one. And now you can, oh, before I move on to another one, you can also come with your white pencil because it, on the tone paper, it will show up and you can add a few pencil lines like this. So if I can give you a close up and show all the colors I use. See, you can see a little bit of the purple, a little of the blue. I don't overdo it and I go soft. What if you did some of the blue, purple, and you don't like it? Then you take your medium color, so not your dark color. You can even go with your lighter one and you smooch it in a little bit. So you can really go over it and you can blend it in. But I'm not pressing hard. I'm just flicking, and go over and over and over without pressing hard. The moment you press hard, you make an indent, and doesn't matter how you try, you cannot get rid of that. And then whatever you will do around it will just kind of show up. I think I didn't trace this petal good enough, but it's okay. You look so funny. Okay. Soft is better. Soft is better. Okay. And it's a blending thing. I like to go towards my body, so I would just flip my flower. Then I'm gonna go with my light pink again. Highlight first. And I'm gonna color in. Soft, so not pressing down too hard. Coloring it over everything. Go with my medium. Make sure I go close here. So close to my pencil lines. Go a little in here. Stay in the direction of your petal. Make sure you go close to your pencil line, but don't go side to side. Stay down. Go with your red. Definitely on these ones. And because your red is over the pink, it will just kind of look like a pinkish, darkish pink red. And then stay in the shape. So you want to go like this. Go in here. Maybe take some of the light pink or the medium pink and blend it again, but soft, soft, soft. So don't press down too hard. Get the corner. Go with your light pink and or your medium pink and smooch it in. Go with some of your dark blue. So now if you've done the blue on the first one, you definitely want to come back and add a little bit. Maybe just here on the outside edges. So just the outside. Take your medium pink, blend it in. You can even come back and add a little white. And I am trying to go on top of my pencil line to just, see if I can make it a little softer. If you have a knead eraser, you can also just kind of gently drag it across and it will make your line a little softer. I just kind of need you guys to see what I'm doing. So here, now this one is going to be interesting. Actually, I'm going to start with the white. So changing the way you color in is a little easier if you change, rotate your paper. So I'm going to go a little white here because the inside of my Columbine is white. So at this petal here. So I'm doing this. So if I can show you this way, it's this one. The water soluble pencils, white one, so this is just a normal pencil, but this one is just a little bit nicer to color in with. I'm not pressing hard. I just go over and over and over. I'm taking my light pink, which was right. Oh my gosh, right here. And I go a little on top. And I use that guideline that I made for myself in here to go even a little bit more. But I don't press hard. I just go over and over and over. And I go a little softer to the outside. I can add a little bit to this one. Soft, soft, soft. Stay in the direction. Stay in the shape. You can barely see it. I'm going to come with my medium. Add a little bit more in here. Again, I'm not pressing hard. And then softer. So less pressure, less. You want to go soft to the outside. And your dark color, just a little bit here in the middle where it makes the fold, where the flower, the petal is kind of making, I don't know, an indent. And I'm adding a little bit of white over it to kind of smoosh that in. So you can use white to blend it in. Tiny brush strokes that will help you to show the direction of how it's going. This is the highlight. This is indent inside. Again, I know if I add a tiny bit of blue to that, it will just show more depth. No need to go everywhere, just a little bit. See the difference? So this one, I don't know if you guys can see. It's like a little peekaboo petal. This one. You can skip the highlight and you can just go to medium because it's so small. So again, I just go over and over and over. I will go into the dark one. So I don't, because this color doesn't have any highlight sections because just a small is visible. I am definitely just going to add that. And then here, especially in this triangle, you want to come back with some of the blue. Don't go into your petal like I just did. Don't do that. Okay. top one is also, so all these middle ones are lighter, so more white. So top ones are also, the top one is light too. I'm going to use the water-soluble white one. So instead of the light pink, I'm going to choose to go white. So I choose white as my highlight color. And then I will go with the light pink and then the darker one. So white will be my highlight for these middle ones. And I don't press hard. I just go over and over and over until I get it really nice and white. And then I look at this one and I go back to this one. That happens. I take the medium pink. That is actually my highlight pink. And I go over and over. And switch to my darker pink. And I'm just going to focus on this triangle spot on the left-hand side. And I try to really blend it in nicely. And then, of course, going back to the navy blue. Because I have all the pencil underneath, it's so easy to kind of just blend it in, but don't press hard. So even if it feels a lot of blue, just go back with your pink. You can even go for a little bit of the red and just blend it kind of in and flick a little bit. Show direction. I am doing this one, the whole thing, white. Over and over and over and over and over. You can use little circles, but see if you can go from the outside to the inside in the direction of the petal. First layer, pretty solid like this. Go with your light pink. Add from the middle, use that guideline. And then come on the outside a little bit with some pink. Switch to your darker one. Oops. A little bit on the outside. Pull it in. Even if you do side to side, see if you can flick a little bit in. I'm doing tiny little circles around this one. Tiny little circles right here. And then go with the dark one, the red. Again, no pressing hard, just softly going over and over and over. Maybe use the white to soften it a little bit. And lastly, teensy tiny bit of blue. So these two is also the same way, so I'm just going to finish them. White as your base. So now, in the beginning, when I said you can press hard and it will show the indent, this is where you would notice it. If you try to color over and it will show the outline. So I did a good job for not doing that. So I'm just going to color this one also white while I have the white. So you can totally also approach it like watercolor, where you do all the light first and then come back and add, then come back and add the medium, then come back and add the highlights everywhere or the shadows everywhere. Or you can just kind of do 1, 1, 1. You don't have to wait for it to dry. So that's why you can kind of just go immediately. Sometimes with paint, you need the one layer to dry before you can add one. So it makes sense to paint all of them. So by the time you are done painting, you can go to the first one again. These ones are dry medium, so no problem. The way you use your pencil strokes are very important. So I stay in the direction. I try to curve my lines a little bit. I don't just go straight. I flick appropriately. I use it so it just doesn't feel messy. I make sure I go from pencil line to pencil line so I don't have interesting open spaces that I don't know how to fill them. So I make sure I go all the way around. And soft, 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 over and over and over. Fill it in very nicely. And then use all the color you can. You always have a highlight, you always have a medium, you always need a shadow, darker area. And normally with flowers, the more on the inside of the flower is where it will darker, and then towards the outside of the petal, it's a little lighter because the sun can catch it more. But keep that in mind. And you can use the white to kind of smoosh it in a little bit together. And then use a little tiny dark blue. I don't want to make an outline. I kind of use little circles to kind of color in around to make that little outline. So I don't just want to make it dark. Okay. Then I am going to go to the top one. Color in up and down, up and down, up and down. Make sure you touch your pencil line. Go into your pink. So this one is kind of a peachy pink. Now, even though it doesn't look like my color pencil is dull, I am going to quickly sharpen it. So the noise you're going to hear is my sharpener. Much better. I don't do it super sharp. They are much softer, so you want to be careful. And then see if you can flick. Oh, yeah, look at that lines. It's so pretty. Flower is all about texture. So you want to make sure that you stay up and down also, in the shape. And then make sure you use the strokes as a way to show the texture. If I can show you like this. Dark, because you already have the pink. It will not really look like red. Blending with the other ones. The other pinks you already have down there. So even if you want to go side to side to fill in gaps, make sure you go up and down too. And then the fold over section can just basically be dark. I'm using the pink to kind of blend it in. Last but not least, the navy. So or the dark blue. I don't even know. It doesn't say names. I'm not sure what I'm using, but a dark blue. You can use the pink to smudge in that dark color. If it feels like you are doing something and it's just the same color, it could be that you may just need to do a few shadow areas because even that tiny little bit just changes all the pinks completely. So it's kind of the same. Everything is always the same how you approach it, I want to say. It doesn't really matter what medium you use. I think acrylics and oils are probably the only ones you can really get away with adding the highlights last. And gouache. But I want to say light first and you build up color. It's also much nicer to see if you go light because it's hard if you don't know if it's working. So go light and you can always go darker and darker and darker. I'm going over these little fold over sections. I know I'm going to make them dark like this one. I'm just doing the shape. So I don't just go straight. I kind of go with a little curve to the top and a little curve to the bottom. Um, I'm going to go a little darker here. And then go into the red. The red. Soft, soft, soft. And do those fold over sections. I may come with the pink over it to kind of smush it in a little bit. You can definitely blend with colored pencils too. Go in with a little purple. I mean blue. Go on the top. This ones that's just kind of like this. You can go with your medium pink and your medium pink. Another nice thing about colored pencils is what if you just buy a basic set and then you can at most art stores, but like I have one close to me that's called Art Supply Warehouse that you can buy them individual. So what if you buy a set and you realize you like to do pink flowers and you want to have all the pinks, you can just go and buy pencils separate. So you don't have to get new sets and then you don't use all the color, which I think is pretty nice. And so my white always go fast because I like to use it for a lot of things. And so I can just then go and get a new white. Now it feels like my flower belongs to each other. I wish, I don't know what I did with the trace, but I think I traced it too straight. I don't think this line was so straight, but I guess it is what it is because I cannot find my view. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. They had a little curve that I just didn't do. I don't think I can add it. Gonna mess it up if I try to add it. Yeah, don't do that. Don't do that. No. Listen, now I talk myself out of it and then I still do it and then I tell you not to do it. Isn't that funny? Okay. I like the way it looks. So I'm going to do the little bud since I have all the pinks out here. I'm going to just go with my light pink. Same idea. Light pink, the whole thing. Medium. I'm going to make a little triangle in here and then kind of just go make like a little highlight section. And then add my pencil, my red pencil. Add a little highlight here and there. So now you don't want to stop, right? You just want to keep on going, adding all the things. Okay, let's go to the yellow. And before I do this, so yellow here. I am doing light yellow, the whole thing. I kind of go side to side because they are from the inside to the outside. And then I'm going to go with, I'm going to find like a yellow ochre. Let me see. This one may show up. Let me see. And I'm going to make like little V shapes. Like this. Just get the little V shapes. It's very soft. And then clicking, go a little bit more. And then I want to do little C shape, circular ideas to show the stamen thingies. I don't know. I will lift up now so you can see. And I want to just add quite a few. And because I'm on my yellow background, may not show up so well. But the idea is there, and I don't mean to say it doesn't show up, but it's kind of soft. So you can kind of do a lot and it's not that, you can kind of get away with the softness of it. And you just want to have the idea. And then when I switch to a darker one, I just want to do every other one a little darker to just define it a little bit more. And then I want to color in a little bit softly where it's touching here. I will still see the yellow, but I kind of want to show that it's the inside of the flower that is a little darker. Now, let's go to the green. So again, this set have all the greens I like. So it's a really nice set. So there's more than just one. Normally you have a light green and a dark green. There's a few more different ones. So I'm going to go my highlight section first, so a lighter one. And I'm going to do up and down with the stem. I'm going to come back with like more of an olive green. A little over it. So my green is peeking through my highlight one, this one. And then especially when it's touching the petals, you want to go darker. And then I'm going to add a dark brown. So I'm making that line defined where my petal is touching. And then I'm just going to go over it softly. So you will still see the green. And then to the right-hand side, I'm just going to make it slightly darker on top of the green. So stay on top, but soft to get a dark green. Try to control your hand, but you know, this helps. And then I just realized I have this one. Oh, and there's another one here. Oh my goodness. Because it's very dark there, I'm just going to add medium pink and the red and a little bit of the blue. And then you cannot stop, and then you forgot that you're actually doing the green. So see how I did the light green is peaking. I added a different green and then the brown up and down strokes, but you can still see the light green. Don't try to go over all of them. Okay, so let me move all the pink stuff out of the way now. I have the three greens. So I have three greens over here. The light one, making this stem. This one is going to be a little skinnier. So you may not have so much room to add the dark. And I add the dark towards the bottom. So you want to come towards the bottom of your stem. And then add green here. Dark green. Light green. So now you kind of want to see what the petals or the leaves actually look like. But I will just wing it because I do not have the photo in front of me and my watercolor picture is not helping me. But I know there will be a vein, so I can add a little vein and I can add a few veins kind of like this. But also you don't have to add all the details. Sometimes you just see you don't really see all the details. So you don't even have to add them if you don't want to. I'm just making it a little interesting by going a little curvy up I can come back with my dark brown, especially on this side, and just go in a little bit. See your pencil line, so don't just go over and over. Look at that. Same with this one. And I try to color in the direction of my leaf. So I just don't color in side to side. I see if I can curve it. And then with the brown, the dark green, come in. You can make a vein. You can add a few veins. Flick, flick, flick. Come back with more green. You can use little circles if you are scared of making pencil lines, because that is not in a direction, but you can fill in a space with a tiny little circle. So much easier without defining any spaces. And if you go over the brown, you can kind of use the green to kind of smudge them in and blend it nicely. And then do this one, light green. Oh, and I add a little green here. Don't know if that's really green, but I'm going to make it green. And then from the bottom, I'm making a V shape. And I kind of do the outlines, but blending it in so the highlight section stays in the middle. I'm going to come with my shadow color and just do a few little tweaks right here, right here, right here. And you can even use this one to go over your pink to just make it a little extra dark right there. I will lift up and show you in a moment. And then, of course, you can come with your light green over it. And then I just check my bud. I just want to come back and add a little highlight. Add a little highlight. And go with my pink or my blue. Towards your body is always the darker area. Now, if you want to use so the reason I went for brown inside here is because you can get green even with colored pencils if you choose to use the blue on this. So I can try. I'm just a little scared that I can, um, get a green. And you can just come back and add a few little tiny details. So if I can show you my leaves, like this, and then this. And then you have to know when to stop. Because then it gets fun. You don't know when to stop. So just to recap, you do not need to buy expensive watercolor or watercolor pencils or any pencils. You don't need to buy expensive ones. Maybe have a few sets, or if you buy a basic set, get get your favorite color extra, because you can buy pencils extra. And Yeah, have fun. I'm going to quickly sharpen my white pencil. And I can just come back and add a few highlights. Oh, yeah, I like that. Hold yours up, squint your eyes, look at it. I'm going to zoom out so you can see what I mean. Um, hold your eyes, hold it, squint it, look at it, see if you need anything. If you can see your pencil lines here at the back, just zoom back in. Maybe have one of these erasers and see if you can erase. I like to make my pencil lines after I traced it. I would even erase it a little bit before I start, even with watercolor, just because once it's there, you kind of paint it inside. You can always erase it in the end. Yes, you can, but it's always nicer to have a softer pencil line. Do a few flicks. Here, maybe a few here. And I think we are done.